Globalism, how's that working for you? That's the question before us today. Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, Editor-in-Chief of Liberty Nation, and joining me from across the pond is Mark Angelides, our Managing Editor. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Lisa.
Well, you wrote a very interesting and original article this week entitled, Can Globalism Survive COVID-19? You know, in your research, you found the French stealing N95 masks from the Brits and more. Well, what the heck is going on?
Well, really what happened, as far as I can tell, is that this European Union project where you have all countries united together, as soon as the lean times come in, it's every person for himself. So you have the French stopping N95 masks that are being shipped to Britain and essentially just stealing them for their own use. That's a shocking display of behavior from President Macron. And you have Italy, which had ordered more of these N95 masks from Germany, paid for in advance. And then Germany says, we're canceling the order because we might need these in the future. It really is a free-for-all now, as opposed to a European Union, which is very much a globalist project.
Okay, so you mentioned Italy, but let's also talk about how Italy played the ideal globalist during their hug a Chinese person today. Now they're paying for it, aren't they?
Very much so, yes. What happened was at the beginning of the outbreak, the virologists in the area, they were talking about how we need to start measures to shut this down. But nobody wanted to close the door to China because they thought, and this was a direct quote, they thought it would be deemed as racist to other another person or another race. And so what happened was the mayor of Florence came up with this wonderful social media thing where he got everybody to hug a Chinese day, it was called. And so people went out, hugged Chinese people, put it all on social media, showing their good virtue signaling. But of course, it turns out that this was a very bad idea. And now Italy is suffering the worst in Europe because of the spread of COVID-19. And it's difficult to say how many people actually contracted it during that extravagant display of hugging, but we can bet it's a few.
And finally, so this one big happy global family appears to be disintegrating into every man for himself. What does that tell us about this wonderful globalist experiment?
So it's a failed ideology. It became prominent back in just after World War I. And in fact, H.G. Wells wrote about it in this book, The Salvaging of Civilization. And it was a reaction. This is a first edition, by the way, it's my pride and joy. It was a reaction to the horror of World War I. And so people decided, well, if we can't have countries again fighting one another like this and creating this bloodshed. So it was very reactionary, and everything that's done as a reaction out of fear is inevitably wrong. And we're beginning to see that now as people realize the globalist project, it isn't what it claims to be. It's very much a method of control. It's very much a question of taking away national identity. And it's just not working in times of crisis. And thank goodness we found this out before there is an actual war, and we suffer the real effects of it.
Well, they say you learn something new every time something bad happens. So maybe this isn't new, but it certainly does sort of put a nail in the coffin of that wonderful globalist perspective. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us today, Mark. That's Mark Angelides, hailing from the UK, where he's probably locked down and locked in. I'm Lisa K. Donner, Editor-in-Chief for LibertyNation.com. Have a nice day. Hi folks, Lisa K. Donner here, Editor-in-Chief of LibertyNation.com. We hope you enjoyed watching this video, maybe even learned a thing or two. If so, please take a moment and subscribe to our YouTube channel right down there in the corner. Thanks so much.